Okay, happy Monday, uranium peeps. We had some requested tickers last week in the chat room. We're going to go over them. First one here we have is URNM. We are looking at the weekly chart. Now, it's obvious things are drawing down pretty heavily right now, and we are coming into pretty big area of support, right? So we've got 61 even is our make or break spot right now for URNM. We lose 61, we lose this weekly uptrend. So here's our weekly uptrend. We have our low, we have our high, a nice little pivot here back down to 61 to make a higher low, and then our run up into 82. So we are now testing that area of support. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Fibonacci retracements, but they're used all over in the trading world. They occur in nature. I like to use them when I trade. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken this Fibonacci run and it's already retraced back below the 50% and the golden pocket. We call this the golden pocket. It's usually where things like to bounce. So it went right through that, and that's a 62% retracement. So now we have a big confluence of support here. Okay, so we've got this basically a triple bottom here on this weekly at 61, and we also have the 78.6 retracement at 60.05. We're kind of in a make or break spot. I think that we can kind of all figure that maybe things aren't going to be going so well for a little while. So this is what it is. Our next spot after that is 54, and that's what we're going to be looking at if 61 breaks down. If you notice, there is a little gap here too between 59.87 and 58.87. So there's a $1 gap here that's probably going to want to get filled. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this either, but we're going to look at this. This is the volume profile. And basically, all this thing does is just tells us where there's a lot of transacting. Okay, so it's really delineates what supply and demand zones are. So if you notice, you see the thickness here, the thickness here. So these areas can act as support and or resistance. So if we line it up with this spot right here, we're kind of right at that area. And then you start to see a little bit of an air pocket until we get back down to the 58 area. After 58, things start to wane. So we really need and want this 54 to hold. Okay, but that's where we are there. Quick look at the daily says we are in drawdown mode. We have these EMAs all above the 200 day, which is this white line, is also above us. So everything here is this whole EMA stack and these moving averages, they're going to act as resistance for whatever our next bounce is and whenever it is. Okay, so there's not much positive to say. On Friday, we've had a big volume sell off. I mean, that volume has waned a bit, and we're coming into daily oversold conditions. If you look at historical RSI, it does bounce here, but it also can go deeper. I don't really use RSI as that much of a metric, but I do pay attention. Okay, so we've had one big drawdown here with a lot of momentum. Okay, we tried to get a bounce today. You see that little wick up there? Let's get a little closer. We see this wick, and it just immediately sold off right at where the golden pocket is. So things don't look fantastic, but we just have to wait and see. I mean, that's how it plays out. So what am I expecting at this point after this type of drawdown? Well, I'm expecting at some point there will be a bounce, but because of the size of this pullback, the bounce is most likely not going to be able to make a new high. So you would probably need something more to the effect of this, right? So we bounce, we make a lower high as opposed to 82.27. Maybe we pull back a little bit and then we're looking for the higher low, and then maybe that's the next move. So we're going to be looking for a trend change at some point to kind of signal direction. At the moment, we're still just in a complete drawdown. Okay, so I don't think anybody should be hero here and attempt to be bottom fishing and trying to catch a falling knife. Personally, there's nothing wrong with waiting for the daily to kind of make a move, right? So even if one was trading and they missed this whole move here, well, that's where you grab it, right on this little pullback. It made a daily double bottom. It's a great place. It's a low risk trade. And then you can just then you can ride it up. So you're still catching a lot of the move. Okay. What's next? LEU, Centrist Energy. So Centrist, same deal. We're probably going to be looking at these charts and they're going to be similar, but we have a couple of differences here. We have not tested the golden pocket yet. Okay, we do have again a nice little double bottom. I did call this trade out today in the chat room. Okay, so if you wanted to take this trade, it's a doable one. It's a low risk, but you get out after 36 breaks down. Okay, because if 36 breaks down, we're probably looking at testing this golden pocket, which is about 30 to 32 bucks. So if you want to sit through that drawdown on Centrus, I mean, more power to you, but I'm not interested in that. So that's where we're looking here. We can take a look at the daily. Okay, so there's something that we use with trading sometimes. It's called a stair step pattern. So if you notice, okay, so this whole down move, Centrus has not really broken the high with any conviction of the previous day. It did it here, but it pulled right back. Okay, back down. Did it here, pulled right back. Solid pullback. Up here now, we have a little slight character change, and it may have something to do with the news with the Department of Energy today. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Okay, but it did break this little stair step down, and it's kind of held up. Okay, so there's a little bit of strength here that I'm noticing, and that's why I called this out. So we're wrong if it breaks down below 36, and that would be the time to get out. Okay, just a quick look at the monthly. So the monthly, most of these are all in monthly downtrends, but what you have slight look, this wick is killing us, but you've got a little bit of a cup and handle pattern that could be forming here. It's too early to tell. It's very wonky because it's centrist. This thing just flies sometimes, whatever. So it's good to keep an eye on it. I would be getting out. If you entered this trade today, I'd be getting out if 36 broke. Encore Energy weekly chart. Okay, so let me just see where my fibs were. Okay, so here's the last run. We ran these fibs on, I think. No, I didn't. I didn't do these fibs correctly. Hold on. Okay, let me just kill this while we're here. Get a new fib. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so here's your weekly, here's your Fibonacci's. Again, this thing has done the same thing. Just about the whole space is kind of doing the same thing, but after the reverse split, we've had one hell of a drawdown. We're coming into the support area, the 285 to 291. You look at the volume profile, you start to get these air pockets. You know, it becomes something that there's no reason to be chasing these things down, in my opinion, at the moment. Okay, if you're just a long-term hodler and you like this price area, I mean, we are in a demand zone, right? But if this zone breaks down, you know, your last line of defense is going to be 250 area, and then we've got a lot of open airspace down here until we get to the next support area, which is going to be about 128. So I'd be careful. No need to chase this thing down. Let the charts tell you when to buy. Okay. Same thing with the daily here. We're just coming into support. Look at the air pocket here. So we're really going to lose support here, and it could get fugly. There's not much going on down below this 290, 280 area. Not until you start really looking back. Okay. But you still have this whole spot that it could draw down to. I'm not saying it does. All I'm telling you is that this is what the charts tell us. They don't predict for us. They just tell us what happened. They give us reasonable areas to do a risk and reward scenario on our buys. Okay, Global Atomic monthly chart. No fibs on this either. Okay, so monthly. Monthly downtrend is not confirmed. So, well, it's kind of in an EQ. We kind of lost this monthly downtrend when we lost this level here, which was monthly uptrend rather, which was 296 in American. No, I'm actually looking at the TSX. So 296 Canadian is kind of where we started to lose the monthly trend. Okay, so it looks like if this area here holds, if 258 holds, we're going to be in a little bit of an equilibrium, and we've got some good chunky support here that could hold us up here. So this is a space darling. So you could probably surmise that we're going to see some buying coming into this area. Again, if 258 breaks, 231 is your double bottom over here on the monthly, and that could end up being support. But other than that, you're starting to get some air pockets. Okay, we'll take a look at the weekly. Yeah, weekly's in an uptrend. Okay, so it's not horrible. So if you really want to be someone who's going to try to be adding to their positions and doing it in a low risk way, uh, see what happens at 288 Canadian. If we can maybe grab some low risk trades there and take the bull side of it off of 288, maybe even put a stop at 261. You got a 20 cents, 28 cents, 27 cents cushion there. It's a possibility, okay? But we are in a weekly uptrend, okay? So you had your low, your high, higher low, higher high. Now we're looking to hold this weekly uptrend. So Global Atomic technically looks okay. There are some names in the space that are doing the same thing, okay? So they have a lot of downtrends, but they're holding their weekly uptrends, which is a decent sign. There's some hope there, okay? Looking at the daily, same thing. We have this little stair step pattern that really hasn't broke. It broke here, and that was convincing, okay? But it proceeded to shoot right back down again. No gaps. Let me just see if there's a gap here. 319. Yeah, there's a 2 penny gap here between 319 and 319. Yeah, 319 and 317. So could we get down there? Sometimes these traders like to fill these gaps. Concerning a little bit here, right? We have increased volume. So we've had the volume was decreasing on the way down. Now we've had some increased volume, a little bit above the 20 period average. So not the best look, not the worst look. It is in a confirmed, let's see, low, high. If you call this the pivot here, it would be a downtrend. Okay. Some technical analysts will look at this as one straight move. Okay. There are some that will say, okay, here's your pivot, and then you pivot back. So this would be the higher low and then the lower high and then continuation, which would confirm a daily downtrend. Tough call. I mean, we could just sit here and say, look, to me, this is all one move. And it would be reasonable if someone said, yeah, there's a little pip there, but we're still doing the same thing. We're still going down. So 288, key spot for us here. You. The bane of everybody's existence, right? Tough one. Pain in the ass, this ticker. Okay, so we did some TA on it last week, but we're still kind of looking at the same thing. We've lost the weekly uptrend. I mean, we had it here. You had your low, you had your high, you had your higher low, your higher high, right? It tested that last week, got through it. So we've lost the weekly uptrend. Not a good look. We're below the golden pocket, well below the 200-day. That's what the white line is, okay? EMA stack above. Not looking fantastic. 469, key spot for us to be. Let's take a quick look at the daily. Again, yeah, stair stepping down, right? Stair stepping down. So again, there's no need to chase these things. If you're looking for an entry in you, wait for this little stair step to die down. Wait till we get some sort of signal that there's a turn. We don't have that signal yet. Okay? 469, still the key level. Next gen, weekly chart. What a dump, right? Doesn't surprise me with next gen. This thing's a bear also. But so yeah, we're testing key supports right here. Okay, this 339 breaks down. You see this the volume profile just really wanes until we can get down here. Do I see it going down? I don't have no idea. Who knows what's going on? The broad markets are insane. So yeah, I mean, you can't discount the possibility that it's going to get down here. So does that, am I going to try to catch a falling knife into these supports? Maybe. I mean, you got a low risk trade opportunity here. You can even give it some room until like $3. See what happens if it tests $3. That's the fib extension here. Um, it's doable. I mean, I'm not going to be the one to do it. I'd rather wait for a daily stair step pattern maybe to change things. Okay, once we see that the daily starts to get some momentum, you can get some runs out of this thing. It's not horrible here, right? So last time we had the drawdown and we got a daily run up, it's a 30% run. You're not missing anything. So let's say we see what's going on. We see that we decide to get it up here at the high of the second day. You still get a 20% hit out of that over the course of a couple of days. It's not horrible, but there's no reason. Okay, look at this doji. It's almost like a gravestone. This daily doji here. Okay, all that says to me is that it doesn't seem like it's ready to make the pop yet. So support break looks fairly imminent here. It did actually break it a little bit today and got a little bit of a bounce back, encouraging with this increased volume on the daily here. But we're not even into oversold conditions. Historical bounce area for us on NXC over here, RSA. Yeah, but we have it down here too. So, and you're in the broad market is not favorable for anything, right? For falling knife trades. Okay, uranium is a pretty forgiving bull, but not when everything else is getting decimated, which is kind of what's happening, right? The only things that are working right now are shorts. Will there be a general market bear rally? Yeah. Is it coming in soon? S, SPX, S&P 500 futures? Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Look, we're down to the RSI here. This is a historical bounce area. We've had basically a waterfall move. Possible? Yeah, it's possible, but I'm not going to be the one to jump in front of it. Okay. So tell me what you think. Ask questions. Over and out.